Logged in, you'll get to this screen here. On this screen, you can see a number of items. You can view your current BBB business review or charity review, as the case may be here. There's also the option to change your password or contact us too through these options on the sidebar. Here in the middle of the screen, you'll see the evaluations you've already started or done in years past. So you'll see I have a couple from 2015 here. If you've already started your evaluation and you're coming back, this is how you would continue or edit the evaluation. However, if this is your first time in this program, or if you're starting your report new and fresh for the 2016 submission date, you will initiate a new charity evaluation here. I'm going to click a new one just to show you what that looks like. It will give you all this information about what it means to be submitting your information to the Better Business Bureau. Please read this through so you understand exactly what it means to be bound to our terms and conditions before beginning. Next, you'll come across this first screen here. You want to start by filling out this information on the side. This initiated by will be your information that you'll enter here. We'll also use this information to contact you if we have any questions about the information you've entered. So I'll go ahead and enter my name and title and put in my personal email address here. Again, this won't be public on the report. This is just how we will know how to contact you to move forward with the reporting process. Please also enter in a phone number in case we need to get in touch with you that way instead. After everything you do in blue, it's really important to save your information. So I'm going to click this button and it'll just reload the page for you quickly. The next thing you're going to do is update your basic information with the Better Business Bureau. It's on this little 2-line here. It's sort of a subtle place, but this will show on your report, so it's important you get to this piece. This is the area where you'll enter your mission statement, a program description, and a little bit about your organization. If you've already done this in years past, this may autofill with what we already have on file for you. However, this is your opportunity to change this information or update your report. I'm not going to fill this in now, but I do want to show you this area down here at the bottom. It's also important to enter your number of employees, the date you were incorporated, the year is fine, the state you're incorporated in, this will probably be New York State for most of you, your employer identification number, and also your tax status, which will likely be 501c3. Once that's all updated, click here to update your BBB record. When you do that, this little box will pop up here. This little box will show you how you're doing throughout the reporting process. A little green bubble indicates that your information has been uploaded. A little gray bubble means you still have a little bit more to do on that piece. If you get rid of this pop-up box, you'll see a progress tab on the left-hand side here. This is a great tool for using when you maybe want to come back to this report or do it over a period of time. And it's also something we can see, so we can see if there's any information missing that we might need to reach out to you about. This Agree and Submit button will be the final button you'll click when you're ready to submit your completed review to the BBB. Only click this once you're satisfied that everything is all done. So next, we're going to go into the tabs and I'll show you a little bit about how Blue works and what it looks like. So I'm going over to this Board tab first and I'll give you a feel of what it looks like. First, you'll notice these tabs at the top. These relate to each section of information that we will look at to make sure you're meeting all of our 20 standards. Take a look also at these secondary tabs here. Within each of the larger categories, there are secondary tabs that can help guide you to enter all of the information that we'll need to evaluate your charity. Then you'll have options below to enter information. There may be some pre-filled information here from prior reports and instructions on every page that tell you exactly what we're looking for and what you need to do. Note near the bottom, there'll always be an option to upload an actual document, which we'll ask you to do in many cases so that we can see what information you're pulling from. And there'll also be a spot to provide more clarification or information if you feel like there's something that you also want us to know when going through your report. Lastly, always remember to save your information at every step. Save your additional details and press the upload buttons. When you're all done with every page, there'll be a next step down here at the bottom, or you can use the tabs at the top to navigate through your charity accountability report. Now I'm going to turn it over to Heather Leyland, who will begin going through the actual report submission process and show you what information you need to enter in each box.
Great, thank you, Zoe. So when you begin your report, you will start with the board tab. And don't forget again that there are these three options here at the bottom. You'll start with the board members. Now, some organizations are bigger than others, and you may have a board roster with 30 people on your board. If that's the case, the minimum requirement that you'll need to fill out on this screen here is 5 members, because our standards do call for a minimum of 5 members, so you need to make sure you have at least 5 people listed there. And of those 5 people, your board president, the treasurer, and the executive director or CEO of your organization will also go on this page. Now, while your executive director or CEO may not be on the board, that's fine. You'll just have to note here at the bottom where it says CEO non-voting, you'll have to make sure to click that button. But if you don't enter the CEO, it will not show on your BBB report, so it's very important that you enter it here. Other things to note is where the person works. You would enter their employer information here and their title at whatever they do for their day job. Also for the executive director, don't forget to enter the compensation on this line. And that can be the number that you pull right from the 990, so that is absolutely fine to enter that number. Then you want to save the information and upload the full board roster here. And you can do that by just clicking select and then choosing from somewhere on your computer. So the next tab is board meetings. Here you'll want to enter all of your board meetings for the fiscal year that you're completing your BBB report. You'll enter the date here, and you're going to also enter attendance. It's important to remember that somebody who calls in by phone also counts for attendance, and you'll enter that number here where it says by phone. You'll also want to enter how many people were not in the meeting so that we can get an accurate count of the percentage of attendance of your board meetings. And of course, you want to save again. Always click save. So when you go to next step, that will bring you here. You can get to the next tab by either clicking next step or clicking up here on the oversight tab. You'll want to click the box here for each procedure that your board does to confirm that it's a policy of your organization. So if your board approves the conflict of interest policy, reviews the CEO, or reviews the written report of the measuring effectiveness, you'll click all these boxes here for whatever policies are in place. If you'd like to provide additional explanation, don't forget that you can do that actually back here on the board member tab, providing additional information at the bottom. Also on this oversight tab, if you are one of those organizations with a larger board that's more than 5 members, you can enter the total number here. So if you have 30 members, you would just enter that here instead of entering all the names. So just make sure that number is accurate as of the day that you are filling out the questionnaire. So once that's completed, you will be taken to the Related Party Transactions tab. And again, the orange box will provide instructions as to what we're looking for here and what it means to be a related party. You will enter the details. You can add a new transaction by clicking here. After you select the drop-down box. So most times it's something related to purchase goods or services. However, it could be any of these options here, or you can also choose other. So just try to find something that is closely related to what the related party transaction is. And this page will provide space for you to enter the details. So if it's related to staff member or board member, you'll enter that here. And then you can provide a description in this box here. So if you're not sure of the details, that's fine. We may reach out to get more information, but just providing the basics is typically sufficient. You want to give an approximation of the goods purchased and just make sure that you select whether or not it's ongoing or one time, and give us as much information as you possibly can. So next, you will be taken to the Measuring Effectiveness tab, and I'll pass it back over to Zoe.
So this tab is pretty simple. All we ask for you guys here is to select a copy of your written Measuring Effectiveness policy. Now, if you need to provide any clarification, I encourage you to use this box here to describe a little bit more about what your policy is or what perhaps you do to measure effectiveness. I also encourage you to reach out to us directly if you have any questions about what this is calling for. We are happy to help or describe what may or may not qualify as a measuring effectiveness policy, and we also have a wealth of resources for you should you wish to create one. The next step, we're going to